All right, seeing none, let's move to the Chief Financial Officer's report. Tim?
Yeah, the revenue in the month of July, this is the month when we begin to receive property taxes that are due October 1st. Our total revenue for the month was just over $4 million, and over 3.7 million of that was in real estate taxes. The operating revenue for the month, as a result, was 15% of what we've budgeted for the entire year. August, we'll see another month with significant revenues as we get the remainder of that first payment in. On the expenditure side, expenditures a little less than $2 million for the month. You'll remember that this July is the first time that we've had a payroll that's gone all the way through July. In the past, we've paid all the 10-month employees out in either May or June in the fiscal year. So the July payroll was only the 12-month employees, so it was very low. This year, the 10-month employees were paid all the way through July, which is what we talked about last month with the actual expenditures coming in significantly lower than what we had budgeted because of those salaries that we budgeted in fiscal 14 and were payments for fiscal 14, but they were paid actually in July of this year. Our operating fund balance at the end of July, just over $20 million. There were a few questions. There were some suggestions with regard to changing some of the headings on the financial reports, and most of those were fairly insignificant. One of the major ones, let's see if I can find the page number here.
Page 8 or page 2? I think it's page 8 of board book.
Yeah.
Yes, page 8 and page 9 on the revenue and the expenditures. There was a suggestion that the numbers for last year, instead of showing the actual to date against the budget for last year, that we show the actual to date versus the total actual for the year, so that we don't have a comparison in that respect for budget. The numbers that we're looking at in the current year, we're comparing actual to budget. We'd be comparing the prior year actual to actual. So I don't know if that's something that the board would want to do. It was suggested that one of the things we could do is possibly take it up with the Finance Council at the next meeting and make decisions on these changes.
The reason I made the suggestion is our budget, we came in $1 million under budget on 10. So we're comparing the actual to the budget, and it's really not reflective at any point in the year of what our actual was from last year. And it just struck me as seemed like it's a better, and I don't know how other people do it, but I look at your percentages between the current year and the prior year to see kind of relative where we were. Mm-hmm. But because there was such a significant variance between actual and budget last year, it's not quite giving you this picture of what was last year. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem. The Finance Council takes it up and thinks it's a good idea. That's fine. If not, fine.
Will there be as much discrepancy this year now that the payroll's been spread out and that we cut that tax appeals money in half?
Well, the biggest difference we had last year was on the expenditures, and that was because of the payroll. That will not happen again because now we have payroll that's paid over the complete 12-month period. Last year it was only for an 11-month period that we paid the payroll.
Okay. Well, we'll probably meet with the finance advisory before the September meeting when we finalize the budget. Let's take a look at it and see. I know it's not a big. Is it a big change for your office?
No.
So we can talk about it at finance, and then we can bring it up to the board, try it out.
There was one question on the financial statements on the expenditures for the band uniforms. The total cost of the. I'm sorry. This is on 25. Page 25. The total cost on the band uniforms is $56,000. What we had said earlier was we were going to take the fees in the first year, and apply them against that account. So that the budget for that account is about $8,000 less than the cost of the uniforms. And then in ensuing years, we were going to take the fees and put them into an activity account and accumulate that money in an activity account to pay for it. that's why that number is coming in at this point so much over budget, because we haven't collected the fees yet. Once we collect
So
those.
the $7,000 or
and apply-
$8,000 we'll collect in fees will go in revenue against that account to help balance that out.
It'll go against this expenditure of $56,000 and bring it down to about 48,000, which is the budget number.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
No,
That was on page, what,
that was on page 25.
okay. What about on page 67?
That's budget.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's bills.
All right, any other question on budget? All right, seeing none, let's go to,
Tim, anything else on financials?
No, not on the financials, no.
Okay,